I'm talking about some of the benefits of doing teletherapy. So if you are a school speech pathologist, this one is for you. Okay, so I'm talking about the benefits of doing teletherapy if you work in the schools doing speech therapy and any other kind of therapies. I'm just talking about 3 benefits today, and these are the benefits that are beneficial to you, me, us, the therapist, the speech pathologist. So teletherapy, in case you don't know or haven't had to do it already in the last year or so, is basically doing speech therapy over a virtual platform, a virtual audio visual platform. So it is live therapy. It's not a recorded video that the kid is watching or anything like that. It's you talking directly to that kid or kids. So number 1, the first benefit of being able to do teletherapy if you work in the schools is having the flexibility to build your schedule the way you need to build it. Oftentimes we have so many kids when we work in the schools that we have to juggle with doing their services, and they have limited schedules. You know, a 4th grader, 5th grader, 3rd grader, you can't get them during reading, writing, math, spelling. You can't get them during recess, PE, art, maybe music sometimes. You can't get them during lunch. You can't get them during snack, really. I mean, there's just very limited times of the day that you can get them. But if you're doing teletherapy, you have more options and flexibility on being able to get a student. So for example, and I do have my notes here because I didn't want to forget any of my main points today. So for example, you know, you got to see Cindy 2 times a week, but really, Cindy is only available about 3 times a week, period. So how are you going to get her 2 times a week? Hey, how you doing? Let me see, I can get my wave. Hey girl, hey, Golden Tiara. So I'm talking about how doing teletherapy as a school speech pathologist helps you to create flexibility in building your schedule. So for example, if you got to get Cindy 2 times a week, but she's only available because she has so much academically going on, she's only available really 3 times in a whole week. So you gotta be able to maximize your schedule, and you gotta be able to like be here to see her if you were doing face-to-face. Be here to see her 2 times a week, but you really gotta be over at the other school at that same time for something else. So with teletherapy, you're able to build up your schedule. Cindy's only available at this time and this time. Cool, I'll plug her into my schedule, and then I can still fit other students who have limited schedules around that and plug them all in. So it makes it a lot easier to be flexible with scheduling all of the students. And then you can also maximize the school daily schedule. So for example, like most of us do travel and go to multiple schools. I mean, the most schools I've been to in 1 year have been 4 schools on my caseload of students. The least amount I've been is 2. Which, I mean, right now I'm at 2 elementary schools, which is still a pretty good caseload of numbers because elementary has more needs. But basically, you know, you got a student at school A that you got to see who's only available right before lunch. And then you got a student at school B who's only available right before lunch. Their lunch times are like within 10 minutes apart. How you gonna make that work? Teletherapy. That's how it makes sense. Teletherapy. You can see them back to back to back within their schedule needs. So that is one of the benefits of doing teletherapy as a school SLP. Another benefit is that you can deliver clinical services according to research-based recommendations. What do I mean by that? Here's what. We have certain students who have certain needs, like a speech sound disorder called apraxia, or dysarthria, or something else. And the research will say, this disorder can best be treated if seen frequently, 3 to 4 times a week in individual sessions. And you read this evidence-based, this research-based stuff, and you're like, but how can I do that? I'm in 3 schools. I can't go over here to this one school and see that kid 3 or 4 times a week. You know, like it just don't work. You know what I'm saying? So, but with teletherapy, you can do that. You can feel more effective and more compliant with research-based studies by seeing that kid 4 times a week with teletherapy without having to drop everything to go on over to their school and see them. So it allows you to be more effective in that regard and go with those research-based recommendations for services. I have an apraxia, a kid right now with apraxia who, same thing. When I first started working with him, it's like, you know, the research says that brief, frequent sessions is best, but I can't do that because I got to be over here and here already, you know. When I started to restructure my students' time and including his, now I'm able to see him 3 times a week for individual sessions. And I'm debating adding another time a week for him. We'll see. But that's benefit number 2. Benefit number 3. That's right, Golden Tiara. It is definitely technology coming through. Benefit number 3 of doing teletherapy as a school speech pathologist with my students is that it creates more freedom and flexibility and time for me. I mean, the benefits for the students are great and they're there. I'm going to focus on those another time. But today in this here TED Talk, Kendra T Talk, I'm focusing on the benefits for me, you, the SLP, the clinician who was working, right? So by being able to do teletherapy, you have more time for you and the things you need to do because you don't have as much commuting and traveling to do. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, if you don't know, we often handle multiple schools as school SLPs, multiple schools and work sites, maybe daycare, sometimes preschools and different things like that. And that's travel. Depending on where you're traveling in traffic, you could be sitting in the car wasting time in traffic in between traveling from school A to B. A lot of times we had to get to school B by a certain time to hurry up and get a kid and start doing their session. You got to drop things at school A in enough time, squeeze in some time to eat maybe in the car or whatever to get on over there in time for the school B's therapy time, right? So when you're doing teletherapy, you can make more time for yourself by not having to do that traveling between schools. It also decreases commuting. Depending on if you work for the school district or if you contract, you may or may not be able to get it set up where you can work remotely from home. But here's my personal story, y'all. Time check. All right. So I live a good amount of distance from where I work, but I enjoy working in the school district I work in and working for the company that I work for. So I was like, but I was feeling burnt out. I had done that drive for a decade, over a decade. I had done that drive where I was spending at least 45 minutes to about 2 hours in the car a day, going back and forth or in between schools, right? Traveling and commuting. I was feeling so burnt out. And it wasn't because of the job. It was just because it was so much of my time that was eaten away by driving and being in the car. And so when I started putting together these strategies, I got the go ahead to do that. I pulled together some strategies I was already using and put together with this, and I was investigating teletherapy and my options for teletherapy and all that. I wrote a proposal and got it approved to do teletherapy with my students on my caseload in my 2 schools. This was before COVID, mind you. So I had fewer options. Fewer people were familiar with teletherapy or virtual speech therapy. I had more convincing to do. Now, because of COVID, less convincing to do, right? But I was super burnt out. So once I could start doing teletherapy, it just alleviated this this heaviness that I felt from being burnt out with the driving. I don't have to pack up a whole suitcase of things that I need because I'll be so far away from home for so long. So doing that has allowed me more time for myself, right? Because as soon as I'm done working, I can swing my chair on around to go in the kitchen and make dinner or work out or whatever. But it's also allowed me more time for paperwork Because again, if we have to go and get students out of their class and bring them back, here's a scenario. We got to go get our students, bring them back to our speech closet, right? The time that you take to walk through the hallways, the travel to get a student, you could get stopped by a teacher, another staff person. You could get stopped by the student when you get their students because they want to use the bathroom. They got to do all this, whatever. You waste so much time going to get them and bring them back that it just eats up the day. Another way that it wastes time is that we've all been here before. When you go get a student and the teacher says, oh, I forgot you were coming. Okay, hurry up, so-and-so. Pack up. She's waiting for you. And you're standing here at the door waiting for them to come on with you, get their stuff together or whatever. And so y'all can now then go make that long walk, because it's usually a long walk back to your speech room. Waste of time. Instead, with teletherapy, you can pop on and get ready for your student to join the session. But if they're running behind or a little late, do some paperwork. Boop, boop, boop. Or in between sessions, when you're done with student A and now you got 15 minutes for student B, that's time to do a note, a therapy session note, do some paperwork, right? Whereas if you had to get them face to face, you don't have 15 minutes is not enough time to prepare for the next session, do paperwork, and go get them. So, in summary of that, basically doing teletherapy creates more time for you. It's less time wasted equals more time for you to do paperwork, have time for you, and be with your family. If you got to pick up kids from school, from daycare, get home, do this, go to ball game practices or whatever after school, okay? So in summary, these are only 3 of the teletherapy benefits that I have found that I'm talking about today. There are more benefits for the students and for you, but I just want to focus on these 3 today. And in past posts, I've spoken about how managing student attention and behaviors and things like that can help this session to be more effective and efficient and productive for meeting students' goals. So you can go back and look at those. But today, this talk was just about how teletherapy is beneficial for you, me, us, the speech pathologist who works in the school. And the strategies that I pulled together and that I created and used for myself have been so beneficial that I want to share it with y'all. So I am making a course. Well, it's done actually, and it's going to be coming really soon. And I'm really proud of it. I want to share it. Like, it works. The speech pathologist, my coworker who I've been coaching to put this program into place and create her teletherapy program, was like, why haven't I been doing this? I'm like, I know, right? So y'all, if you are a school speech pathologist, please go to the link in my Instagram bio and join the SLP community. I'm trying to build a little community of school speech pathologists, or just speech pathologists in general. You ain't got to work in schools. But sign up for my email list, because I'll be sending updates. I haven't sent anything yet, but I'll be sending out updates about how the program is coming, and early bird hookups and such. All right, so my Kendra Tea Talk is wrapping up. My timer did go off. I do have a couple of comments and questions that I want to address here. All right, so this is wonderful. I saved money because this year I didn't have to pay for private sessions for my son. Okay, all right. So you're talking about how teletherapy has been beneficial for you as a parent whose child needs speech therapy. And so it's very beneficial to parents too. And the silver lining, that's the silver lining in the COVID cloud. So true, because like I said, when I first put this together, I had to write a whole proposal and get it approved. And this was before COVID. So it was like, what program can I use? School system, what's available to me? Oh, gotta pay for something out of pocket because we can't use video chatting in school, or devices are limited, and this and this. But yeah, when COVID happened, like I said, I had to convince a lot of people that no, teletherapy is not brand new. It's just new to y'all, you know what I'm saying? But it's not brand new. People have been doing it, and I want to start doing it at this school. And I had all those skeptical looks. Then with COVID happening and the school shutting down and we all had to do teletherapy, we still had the skeptical looks and still had the like, I don't get it, how's it gonna work? But people had to do it. They had to see how it will work. And they did. I'm gonna tell y'all what, and this is my final point. Thank you so much, Golden Tiara. My final point is that with the school shutdowns last year, at the end of the school year, and then all this school year I've been doing teletherapy, my students have been getting their sessions, and they have been making that progress, and they have been meeting those goals and graduating from my speech therapy program at the regular level. Now, that's not to say that I don't have days. I don't have days. Like, what am I doing here? What? Why? What? You know, we all got those days, no matter how you deliver services. But I feel like with teletherapy, I have fewer of those what the days, and I have more, yes, Spreckster. Let me get on and go do something else now that I'm off the clock days. All right, so thank you so much for joining. I'm going to save this in my, save it and everything. Thanks.